So I have been playing so much Palia. This game throws so much at you so quickly and it can be really overwhelming. These are some of the most important things that you need to know to set yourself up for success and to feel like you have a handle on this game. So my tip number one is to understand the day cycle and how it works. Palia operates on an hour-long day-night cycle within the game, and then there are also some things that happen on an IRL day cycle. So we're gonna start with an in-game day. An in-game day takes 1 hour of real time. The time in-game is gonna affect a couple of different things. There are certain bugs, fish, and gatherables that are only available at certain times of the day. The villagers operate on a daily schedule. Crops progress 1 time each day at 6 a.m. So if they've been watered, they will progress to the next cycle in their growth at 6 a.m. And you can talk to your villagers 1 time in each in-game day to get a friendship boost. The time also affects the shipping bin, so anything that you place in your shipping bin to sell will automatically be sold and you'll get that money at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Another little fun fact is that the day and night cycle in the game actually does sync up to real time. 12 a.m. in the game is always going to be the top of the hour in real time. So like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, etc. 6 a.m. is going to be 15 minutes past the hour, 6:15, 7:15, etc. 12 p.m. is going to be 30 minutes past the hour, and 6 p.m. is going to be 45 minutes past the hour. There are a couple things that are affected by the real-time day. A new real-time day starts at about 4 a.m. UTC. You can give villagers gifts 1 time per real-time day. Each real-time day, the rummage piles in Kilima and Hodari will reset. These are things that you can go out and find each day to get certain rewards when you interact with them. Also, 1 time each real-time day, if you purchase an item from Zeki's shop, then the next time there is a mail cycle, which comes at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. game time, you will get a Zeki coin in the mail. You can use that Zeki coin in his shop to get a lucky box, which will have cool rewards in them. Sometimes they're just resources, but sometimes you'll get really awesome furniture. And then lastly, there are a couple of things that are updated real time weekly. So the week resets Mondays at 4 a.m. UTC. Each week, the villagers will have certain requests for gifts, which will give you an added bonus to the amount of friendship that you get with them. And once you get to level 10 in any of the skills, there are some weekly achievements that you can use to earn special coins. We'll talk more about those later. Those reset weekly as well. Okay, speaking of skills, let's talk tip number 2, which is understanding how skills work. There are 8 different skills that you can level up in this game: bug catching, cooking, fishing, foraging, furniture making, gardening, hunting, and mining. You can see what level you are in each of those skills by looking at the character menu, and you level these skills by doing tasks related to them. So to level up your bug catching skill, you need to catch bugs. To level up your cooking skill, you need to cook. Each skill also has an associated villager that is considered the guild leader for that skill. So for bug catching, it's Ani. For cooking, it's Reth. For fishing, it's Einar. For foraging, it's Ashura. For furniture making, it's Tish. For gardening, it's Badru. For hunting, it's Hassian. And for mining, it's Hodari. As you level up your skills, you will unlock certain recipes and upgrades and things like that. You can see the guild store by talking to the villager associated with that skill. When you reach level 10 in a skill, you have officially joined the guild, and then you will have access to those weekly challenges I was talking about earlier. Completing these each week will give you medals that you can use to purchase more awesome, cool things from the shop. My third tip is a tip to help you beat the overwhelm. At the beginning, if you are feeling overwhelmed, I want you to focus on purely following the quests that are given to you. I think this game does a really good job of setting up quest lines that help you learn about the game and give you access to things that you will need. So for example, finish that starting quest line as quickly as possible because you'll get all your tools, you'll learn how to use them, and then you will also pretty quickly get the quest Like a Bird, which is really important to finish as soon as possible as well, because that gives you access to the glider, and trust me, the glider is going to change your life. You want to get the glider as soon as possible. So when in doubt, just focus on doing the quests, and while you do the quests, you will learn about the world, you will learn about the game, and it'll help you kind of decide what to do next when you don't necessarily have quests to complete anymore. Tip number 4 is about focus. So there is a bar in the top left-hand side side of your screen. You want to try to keep this focus bar filled as much as possible. So having this focus bar filled is going to help you level up your skills faster. The way to fill it up is to eat. Early on in the game, you will get the ability to cook mushrooms. Mushrooms are really good to cook because they're pretty easy to find. They don't take a long time to cook. And as you're cooking mushrooms on the fire, you'll also be increasing your cooking skill. You will unlock the standard stove at cooking level 2, which you can put into your house, and it'll allow you to cook even more things. Tip number 5 is to avoid clearing your farm unless necessary, as these don't respawn. Or I guess if you want to clear your farm, that's totally fine. But I do want you to be aware that anything you clear from your farm is not going to respawn. Everything that you clear out in the world will respawn. So just be mindful of that. You will have the ability to plant more trees. Seeds will drop from trees and then you can plant those. But like the little bushes and some of the larger trees, they're not going to respawn. Okay, my next tip is about making money. This is probably one of the most asked about things, is how do I make money in this game? And the good news is there are a lot of ways to make money. So you really have a lot of options about how you go about it, and you can focus on what you like to do best. I think hunting is a really great way to earn money at the beginning of the game. Some really great places to hunt in Kilima are the Whispering Banks and the area in between Leafhopper Hills and Gillyfin Cove. Just go out, hunt, and then sell everything that drops from them. Fishing is another good way to make money. If you have bait like worms, you will fish items that are worth a little bit more money, but if not, it's still okay. You're gonna make money. You can also make money from selling the bugs that you catch. You can make money from mining. I don't really recommend you selling stone or iron or copper, but sometimes when you mine, you will get gems as well. Those are actually worth a pretty good amount of money and you can sell those. Growing crops is another really good, consistent way of making money, and it's my personal favorite thing. As you level up your skill, you'll also unlock more crops that are worth more, and you'll also eventually unlock preserves jars, which you can use to make pickles and jams, and that will increase your profit by processing your crops through those as well. My next tip is about storage, because it does work a little bit differently than in some other games. On your housing plot, you can place a total of 8 chests and 3 lockbox chests. The 8 main chests actually share an inventory. So if you open one, you're going to see everything that is placed inside all of the chests. Having more chests just increases the number of items that you can store. Each item counts as 1, so a stack of 100 stone doesn't count as 1 item, it counts as 100 items, and it'll keep track of how many things you have stored in there. A lockbox chest you will unlock eventually, and it has its own inventory space that is separate from the rest of the chests. Eventually, you'll be able to unlock copper and iron chests, which will increase your storage size if you replace the standard chests that you have with those. And one really good thing about the storage is that furniture items actually don't count against your total. Unfortunately, you can't sell any of the furniture that you craft. However, it doesn't count against you in the storage. So feel free to craft furniture away to your heart's desire, and just know that it's not going to count against how much stuff you have in your storage. And that leads us to another very commonly asked question, which is, what should I sell versus what should I keep? Now, I do think that this can be a little bit of a personal choice, and it varies from person to person. Some people are just natural hoarders and they want to have a lot of things built up. Some people, not so much. I would personally recommend that you have at least 1 of every type of bug and fish stored, maybe even 2 or 3, because people do ask for those as gifts every now and then. One thing that I really tend to hoard is minerals like copper, iron, silver, gold, and pallium, and then the different types of wood. I tend to personally have hundreds of those saved up if I can. It just makes me feel good to know that I have a bunch of those. I would warn against having too much. Like one time I literally had 600 hardwood planks stored up, and that was just a little bit unnecessary. I would say about 200 or 100 each of those. It kind of depends. If you're at a point of the game where you're going to be doing a ton of like furniture crafting, you might want to have a little bit more. You just kind of need to experiment and see what feels right for you. When it comes to crops, I did mention that crops is a way to make money. So I am selling crops all the time. However, I would also make sure that you're keeping some stacks of the different crops so that you can use them to cook with. So maybe like 20-ish of each of those might be a good rule of thumb. You're also going to to want to keep stacks of the forageable items. Gems I would sell. You can give them as gifts if you like, and if you get a star quality gem, then that is something that you can put out as decoration. They're not used in any crafting items or anything like that, and so you can feel free to sell those unless you really feel like you want to give them out as gifts. Next, let's talk about all the different ways that you can get around most efficiently between Kilima and Bahari Bay. So there are stables around the world that you can use, and if you go up to the stable, you can choose another stable to fast travel to for a little bit of gold, 25 to 50 gold each time. You'll be able to see these on your map, so if you're not sure where the nearest one is, then you can pull up your map and you'll be able to see. One thing that it took me way too long to figure out is that there is a return home button. When you go to your map, there is a button on the top right hand side that says return home. If you click that button, it will automatically take you back to your home, but do keep in mind that this has a 30-minute cooldown. So once you use it, you won't be able to use it again for another 30 minutes of real time. If you're at your home plot and you want to get to Bahari Bay as quick as possible, there is a pathway to get directly to Bahari Bay at the back of your plot. So just head back to the back, right smack dab in the middle, and you will end up in Bahari Bay. And thankfully, there is also a stable right next to it, so you can fast travel wherever you need to go. Another way to traverse quickly is the glider. As I said earlier, I recommend going through that quest line to get the glider as soon as possible because it is a game changer. Next, let's talk about renown. So renown is a currency that you can earn in the game. You can earn renown by raising friendship levels with villagers, completing accomplishments, leveling skills, filling player requests, and completing certain quests. There are a couple of different things that you can do with renown. So first of all, you use renown to expand the available land on your plot. I would mostly save your renown and only do this when you really feel like you need more space. Don't just go and spend it all over there just because, which is what I did, and then I ended up regretting it. Instead, this is what I would recommend you do with your renown first. Visit the Phoenix Shrines and the Dragon Shrines and spend your renown there. The Phoenix Shrine is in the room where you first began your journey. Every 100 renown points will give you an increase in your focus generation bonus. Focus bonus is the amount of focus that is gained from eating food and the amount of XP gained while utilizing skills. The Dragon Shrine is located on the eastern side of Kilima, and this will upgrade the total amount of your focus bar that you can fill up. Every character starts with 200 max focus, and the maximum amount of focus that you can have is 1,000. One super important thing to know about renown is that it caps at 1,000. So once you have 1,000 renown, you can't get any more until you spend your renown. That means if you have 1,000 renown and you complete a quest that gives you 100 renown, then you just lose out on that renown completely. So make sure that you're minding your renown and keeping it below 1,000 by visiting the Phoenix Shrine, the Dragon Shrine, or expanding your plots. Let's talk about tools now. So you'll get access to all of the tools that you need in that starting intro quest line. And eventually, as you upgrade your skill related to that tool, you will unlock the ability to upgrade your tools, and you'll need to buy the recipes to do so from the matching guild leader. You'll be able to upgrade your tool at your workbench, and something that is really important to be aware of is that your tool can deteriorate. So that is indicated by the little green or maybe eventually yellow or orange bar that is around the icon of your tool in the bottom right hand side. When that bar runs out, your tool will go down one level of quality. So for example, a fine tool will reduce to a standard tool, and you would need to craft a fine tool again in order to get it back. Now the good news is that you don't ever actually lose your tool. If you never upgrade any of your tools, then the worst thing that could happen is you'll just be stuck on that lowest quality forever. And another piece of good news is that you can repair your tools, so they will never actually have to go down a level, which is nice because it's a lot cheaper and takes a lot less resources to repair your tool than to build it again once it's lost a level. So there are two ways that you can do this. Number one, you can craft a repair station and then use repair kits, which are also craftable to repair your tools. Also, my personal favorite method is to go to the blacksmith in Kilima Village. There's a repair station there, and there you can pay money to have your repairs done. This is what I like to do for ease. Basically every now and then, if I'm thinking about it or if I'm noticing a tool is getting low, I'll just go to the blacksmith and repair all of my tools easy peasy, good to go. The last thing that we're gonna touch on is your inventories. So you actually have 3 separate inventories that you work off of. There is the main inventory. This includes a variety of items, furniture, repair kits, flowers, forageables, seeds, fish, all of those kinds of things. Now you also have an inventory that is indicated with the arrow, which is kind of like your tool inventory. So this is where anything that gets equipped to your tools is kept. Arrows for your bow, bait for your fishing rod, etc. And then the last section of the inventory is quest items. So anything that is related to a quest that you have is going to be in this inventory, which is nice because having those 3 separate ones means that they're not taking up as much space in one single inventory. Now you can purchase inventory upgrades from Zeki at Zeki's shop. I would recommend getting those as quickly as you can. They can get pretty pricey, unfortunately, but it is definitely something good to prioritize because you will be picking up lots and lots and lots of stuff while you're playing this game. I have a Discord server, and in that server we have a couple of different channels dedicated specifically to Palia. We have a tips and tricks channel, which is super useful, and I just want to read off a few of the amazing tips and tricks that have been shared in there. So this is basically going to be a quick run through of a couple of more awesome tips and tricks. If you want to move a stack of something from example, your inventory to your storage, you can right click it and it will move it all at once. That's going to be a PC specific tip. In order to upgrade tools, you need to level up the skill for it and then buy the blueprint for the upgrade from the NPC in charge of that skill. There are some skills that might make you a little bit more money, but ultimately everything will make you money. So focus on doing the tasks that you find the most fun. Your crafting machines will work while you're offline, so it's smart to fill those up before you log off for the day. When you're fishing, you don't have to constantly hold down the left mouse button. If the bubble turns orange red, let go, and the bar will go down a lot slower than if you keep holding it. Then you continue once the bubble is green again. If you're fishing for trash, like the boot and the wagon wheel, you should be fishing with no bait. If you're fishing for a waterlogged chest, you should use bait. The Palia wiki is great. I'm gonna put a link to that down in the description. It has a lot of information on where to find different fish and bugs on quests, how things work, and just overall most things that you might want to know. If you're ever stuck, press enter to go to chat and type out /unstuck and it will spawn you close by. And that is the basics of the basics that I have for you today. If you have any questions at all, please let me know and I will do my best to answer them in the comments. I hope that this was helpful, and most importantly, I hope that you have an amazing journey as you start Palia. If you want to catch me streaming Palia, you can do that on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Laylindria, same name as I am here on YouTube. I stream Palia as well as a bunch of other cozy life sim type games on there. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Do something cozy today, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.